Section 10.5 Pythagorean Theorem. Essential question. How do you use the Pythagorean theorem? So there are three vocab words that we are going to need in order to be able to do the Pythagorean theorem. The first word is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always the longest side of the triangle or right triangle in particular. Misspelled there, triangle. And it is across from the right angle. So if I take my triangle over here and I go across from my right angle, this is my hypotenuse. And my hypotenuse is always C. All right. The legs of a right triangle form the right angle. So what forms my right angle is this leg and this leg. And our legs are labeled A and B. It does not matter which one is A and which one is B. The Pythagorean theorem equation is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So both of the legs squared have to equal the hypotenuse squared. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. First example, find the missing length. So draw that right triangle, and on every problem, I am always going to locate the hypotenuse first. So if I go across from my right angle, I have C, so that is what I'm going to solve for. So I am solving for C. That means my legs, the 4 and 3, form my right angle, so I'll put those in for A and B. It doesn't matter which order you go in. You could do 4 squared plus 3 squared or 3 squared plus 4 squared. So then I'm going to calculate that. So 4 squared is 16 and 3 squared is 9. If I add that up, 16 and 9 make 25. And then in order to make this C rather than C squared, to undo a squared, I'm going to take the square root on both sides. So the square root of 25 is 5. So the length of my hypotenuse is 5. One way to know if you probably did this problem correctly is your hypotenuse must be longer than your legs, because the hypotenuse is the longest side on our right triangle. So the legs, our 4 and 3, have to be smaller than the hypotenuse, which is 5. So this one seems like we did it correctly. Second example, find the missing side length once again. So write down my formula, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And I'm going to go to my triangle and find my hypotenuse first. So go to the right angle. What's across from it is 10. So I'm going to plug 10 in under C. So that means my legs are 8 and B. So I'll plug 8 in for A. And we are solving for B this time. So it'll be a little different than when we solved for C in the last problem. 8 squared is 64. 10 squared is 100. We want to get B alone, so subtract 64 on both sides. $100 minus 64 is 36. And we undo the squared by square rooting both sides. So the square root of 36 is 6. So my leg B is 6. And if I check to see if that makes sense, well, if my legs are 8 and 6 and my hypotenuse is 10, the hypotenuse is my longest side, so that would make sense if the missing leg I found was 6, because it is smaller than 10. Third example, A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Go to the right angle on my triangle and go across, and this time it is labeled as z, meaning I don't know what it is. If you want to write z squared, you can. Otherwise, you can make it a c. Sometimes you'll see triangles labeled as a, b, and c, but it might not be those three letters. It might be different ones. So I'm going to write c squared, but really we are solving for z. My two legs are 5 and 7. It doesn't matter which order I put them in. And then I'll solve. So 5 squared is 25. 7 squared is 49. 25 and 49 are on the same side, so I'm going to add them. I get 74 equals c squared. Undo my squared by square rooting both sides. If I take the square root on my calculator of 74, I get 8.6. So this time my hypotenuse is 8.6, which is longer than both of my legs. My legs were 5 and 7. Last problem. Find my right angle and go across. My hypotenuse is 10. So my legs are y and 3. Again, I can leave my y as a y, or if I wanted to change it to an a, I could, or even a b. It wouldn't matter. 3 squared is 9. 10 squared is 100. So now we need to get y alone, so that means I need to subtract 9 on both sides. 100 minus 9 is 91. Square root both sides. So I have y equals, and the square root of 91 is about 9.5. So if I have y equals 9.5, both my side lengths, 9.5 and 3, are smaller than my hypotenuse, 10, so I did it correctly. Summary.